Ah yes, flying a Banshee through the walls of Assault in the control room, one of my favorite 100% strats. If you don't know what's going on right now, this is probably very confusing, so let's back up. You, fine viewer of the Frogarcus YouTube channel, may already be familiar with the standard Halo CE speedrun. There's some tricks and cool strats and difficult combat, and your goal is to beat the game as fast as possible. What you may not know is that there's other speedrun categories with different rules and or objectives, like the lasso category where you play with all scoring skulls on, or the zero shot category where you can't shoot. I'm a frog, and this is a hunter, the subject of the speedrun category we'll be talking about today, called 100%. What is 100%, you may be asking yourself as you watch this video instead of working or spending time with your family? Great question. In 100%, your goal is to kill every hunter in Halo CE as fast as possible, which sounds simple enough, but the route to do it as fast as possible is insane, and that's what we'll be looking at today. We'll use some of my own footage, but we'll mostly borrow from the world record holder for 100%, SlothSG, who you can find on twitch.tv/SlothSG or here on YouTube. I'll have both links in the description. Let's hop in. So first off, how many hunters are there throughout Halo CE? 10? 12? 14? Not even close. CE has by far the most hunters of any Halo game with 47. And yes, hunters come in pairs, but the total number of them is actually odd, not even. We'll get to that. The rules for 100% allow you to only play the levels that actually have hunters: Truth and Reconciliation, the Silent Cartographer, Assault in the Control Room, Two Betrayals, Keys, and the Maw, and let you play them in whatever order you like. Assault on the Control Room, AOTCR, has 20 of the 47 hunters in the game, has the most tricks, and because of that is a level that 100% runners choose to do first. AOTCR starts off normal enough with running through the first hallway in the first big room before coming to the first bridge. On Heroic and Legendary, a Banshee spawns out here that can be pretty annoying. Vehicle hijacking wasn't a thing in Halo C, but using precise movements, you can actually cause the Banshee to fly into the wall and get the pilot ejected. It's like when you flip your Warthog and get ejected. After getting the Banshee, you'd fly across the bridge and walk into the second room. In his world record run, Sloth does some platforming to get past enemies, takes out a couple grunts, and then kills the first 2 hunters of the run. After going back outside, you grab the Banshee and fly down and walk back inside just a bit to hit a trigger. Without hitting this, no more enemies would spawn for the rest of the level. Sloth grabs a sniper rifle and a rocket launcher, then continues on. Along the way, he Banshee bombs different enemies because if too many enemies are alive on the map, you can actually skip some of the spawns, including hunter spawns. Sloth will also use Banshee bombs to flip some of the ghosts, so he doesn't have to worry about them. At the tunnel entrance, 2 more hunters show up that you can easily splatter in the Banshee. After hitting the button to open the door and fending off ghosts, you'll come to this area where Sloth snipes a few elites and hunters 5 and 6. 4 more hunters get splattered in the next couple areas, and then the stupid stuff really starts. Sloth flies over the entrance to the next area to skip a spawn trigger so there's no enemies, then starts setting up for a trick. He places his Banshee close to the door to the next area, gets into a ghost while continuously firing to delay a checkpoint, gets into another Banshee, flies into the hallway to the next area, and then parks it in a very specific spot. He goes back outside to grab the second Banshee and starts flying it inside. Basically, the way this works is, there's a load zone in the hallway to load the next section that you can bypass by launching yourself through the ceiling on top of the hallway. With very tricky and precise platforming, you're able to get into the first Banshee parked at the end of the hallway while the next section of the level isn't loaded. This trick is called Banshee out of level, or Bool for short. Once in the Banshee, Sloth does what's called a BSP load, where he loads the next area and deloads the outside by quickly exiting and re-entering the Banshee inside the map while keeping the Banshee itself outside of the map. From here, Sloth flies up and starts flying through the level in the order you'd walk to hit a series of triggers, all of which are required to get every hunter in the level to spawn. If you played the level normally, you'd hit all these just by walking through. One other detail of note is that all of this is theoretically possible in every version of the game. However, without anniversary graphics, you don't have vision while outside the map. So in a practical sense, this is only doable on the Master Chief Collection or CE Anniversary. After hitting all the triggers, Sloth does a BSP load to load the canyon with the bridges back in, flies back in bounds, and runs over the next 2 hunters that spawn on the bridge. These hunters actually spawn on the other bridge, but when you hit the triggers further in the level, they teleport to this bridge, kind of like they're chasing you. I think that's pretty cool. Great work, Paul. Sloth flies back across the bridge and once again starts flying his Banshee into a hallway. In the normal AOTCR speedrun, we use a trick called Banshee teleports to, well, teleport us further into the level using weird physics with the Banshee. Sloth does a very specific Banshee teleport lineup that teleports you directly behind another hunter for an easy kill. If not for hitting the triggers earlier in the level, doing the Banshee teleport would have skipped the trigger to spawn these hunters in. After choking on a few snipes, Sloth gets the second hunter in the pair. From here on out, it's pretty simple. 1 hunter gets rocketed, 2 more get splattered, then another down below gets splattered, and then the the last two get splattered to give us 20 hunter kills in total already. 100% rules allow you to save and quit instead of having to complete each level, so from here Sloth saves and quits and moves on to Keys. Keys has 3 hunters, and as ridiculous as AOTCR is, Keys is the exact opposite. This level in 100% is just good old-fashioned Halo gameplay, with Sloth moving his way through the Halo ring, which you wouldn't even see in a normal speedrun because of a trick we do called flood bumping that lets you skip basically the whole level. At the engine fluid pool thing, there's 2 hunters that Sloth quickly snipes before moving on. At the grab lift, there is a trick. Sloth does a grenade stack using an overshield, and the reason this doesn't kill you is because you're invincible while the overshield charges up. Inside the ship, Sloth fights his way through until he gets to the 3rd and final hunter of Keys. This hunter is always alone because the second hunter spawns in already dead, hence the odd number of hunters. And that's Keys, easy enough. Next up in 100% is Truth and Reconciliation, TNR, and this level starts with the most impressive combat in the entire run. It's the same as the combat and pathing in a normal speedrun as well. It looks really easy, but that's because Sloth is really, really good at the game. After Master Chief and the booking the enemies that come down the lift, the first 2 hunters of the level come down and Sloth takes them out. Once you get inside the Covenant ship, you get to do the wave fight that everyone took an hour to get past the first time they played this game on Legendary. The tactic here is pretty simple. Run to each door and take them out as quickly as possible. And at the end of the 10 waves, on Legendary you get 2 more hunters to take out. There's a hidden camo in the belly of the ship that we grab, from which you can make your way to what we call the RNG room, where you have to bait one of the Covenant into opening a door so that you can progress. Sometimes you can get lucky and a sleeping grunt will be spawned right by a door, leaving it open for you. Next up is the hangar fight that we all know and love that ends with another hunter fight. So here you just kill everyone as fast as possible to get to the end and take out hunters 5 and 6 in TNR, the last 2 of the level. There's also the hunters in the in cutscene, but we don't count those. Next up, it's Silent Cartographer. The level opens up with an epic beach fight with the Halo theme playing that Sloth turns around at and goes the complete opposite direction of. Upon getting to the area with the overturned Warthog, you clear out all the enemies and drive the Warthog into the beach where it isn't supposed to go. Once at the structure thing in the middle, there's 2 hunters for you to run over. Sloth grabs an overshield and keeps going until he parks inside the main structure on this part of the island. There's 2 more hunters inside to take out, then a button to press that opens a door to progress in the level, and more importantly spawns 2 more hunters at the next structure. After taking them out, Sloth makes his way in and does a drop that I have literally never seen before in my entire life and did not know about. The drop takes you into a room with 2 more hunters, and that's Silent Cartographer. The next level 2 with Trails is a lot of work for just 4 hunters. The first trick is at the last door before the outside world, where you can hit the button to open the door twice at specific times and skip spawning every enemy except 2 jackals and 2 elites that are pre-spawned. You do have to fly back up and hit the button again though after getting a Banshee. Afterwards, Sloth flies this Banshee into a hallway, hits the phase pulse generator, and bada bing bada boom goes back out of bounds and does another Banshee out of level trick. If you've seen a normal Halo CE speedrun, this is basically the same path. Like AOTCR, there's a series of triggers for you to hit to get all the hunters to spawn, then a couple BSP loads, more triggers, Sloth hitting the second phase pulse generator inside the Banshee, another BSP load, then Sloth coming back in bounds just in time to run over 2 more hunters. A bit further on, there's a broken door that you're supposed to get out of the Banshee to walk through, or you can just do a trick to squeeze through it. After getting back outside, Sloth picks up rockets and a sniper rifle, makes sure to hit a couple more triggers, then flies up on the bridge over all the enemies at the last section and starts raining down rockets and snipes. This is because the last 2 hunters don't spawn until you've killed enough enemies. Then once they spawn, Sloth fires a few more rockets and snipes, and we're on to the Maw, the last level in both the game and the run. Like Keys, Maw is really combat heavy. There aren't really any tricks with the exception of a door bump that lets you platform out of bounds and skip a couple groups of flood before falling back inbounds. The first 2 hunters of the level come out of the cafe after busting through the doors. After clearing the bridge, there's a fight with a bunch of flood in an armory type room, then the next 2 hunters. Next, you dodge your way past some sentinels and get to the cryo room, do a jump to the second level, run through the exploded blown up hallway part of the ship, walk through maintenance tunnels, and come out to what we actually call Hunter Hallway. Sloth fires 2 rockets, and that's 47 dead hunters in Halo CE, and actually 4306, not 4307. So that's the 100% run. There's a lot of other cool extra categories on HaloRuns.com for every game, not just CE, including, like I mentioned, Legendary Zero Shot, which I actually did on each level a few months ago. You can click that video on screen to check it out. I'll catch you next time.